We're back with you then on our road to the general elections 2024. Political parties and independent candidates are intensifying their campaigns as the May election come closer. The road has been bumpy for many of the independents. Only 6 of the 42 obtained the requisite 1,000 signatures to appear on the ballot. Let's now speak to independent candidates, Blessing, Ramoba, as well as Tshepo Mogano. Good to have you guys, and thank you very much for coming in. 6 out of 42 making it finally to get the 1,000 signatures, right? One can look at that and say it's either we are not ready as a country for independent candidates, or independent candidates are not ready for us as a country to be able to do the necessary work that is required for them to get the support. Which one is it? Let's begin with you, Tshepo.
Look, Tshepo, thank you for having me on your show, and good evening to the viewers back home. Look, independence, I think the country is ready for independence. It was just a tedious exercise. I mean, the Concord only ruled in November, and we had a couple of months to prepare. Some of us have never ran campaigns before. We are just ordinary activists from, our respected communities. So we first had to learn the process of the IEC. After learning that, now we have to go convince people. But people, because they want to vote for celebrities, they don't know us. Yeah. We are not those guys that have massive money that can be around. Yeah. So, unfortunately, our communities said, my man, you have to go there. We are ready for you. You have done well. So go represent us. So, hence I'm here.
Yeah. Blessing?
Yes, sir.
Is it the people who are not ready for independent candidates, or, as Tshepo puts it, independent candidates were put through this tedious process in a short period of time and just couldn't really jump through all the hoops?
Thank you very much for inviting us here. My name is Blessings, and I will be contesting as an independent candidate for Gauteng and Limpopo. I would like to say that it was not an easy task to do. They put a mountain ahead in front of us so that it becomes a very difficult task to actually contest an independent candidate. You have to gather about 1,000 signatures, but you need resources to do that. Some of the people, ordinary South Africans, in the villages or somewhere in South Africa where opportunities are not found, they had to go out and get these signatures, which is a very difficult process, which you have to get resources to travel, to meet and organize people, and also within a very short space of time, as he has alluded to the process that was difficult. But we are here and we made it, and we will be contesting this coming 2024 general election.
How do you manage this? I mean, smaller parties like the AMCU party I spoke to, they said it's very difficult, for example, to convince people to give you their ID numbers.
Yes.
Right? Never mind to then sit down in the process and capture each and every one of them and load them onto the IEC process. It's a cumbersome kind of task.
I mean, you need to tell them about your vision and what you want to achieve in terms of how you want to see the future of this country. It was not an easy task, I would like to agree. Some, they don't want to give their information, because of Poppy Act, because of scammers out there. Yeah. It's not an easy thing just for me to give you my information. But even when there is a rejection, to say, I'm not going to give you my credentials or my information, but we keep on moving to other people who are willing to give. As I would say that, it's sort of a massive thing that which you have to do. You have to get people who will help you and go around the communities, move around the universities, as I did myself. I was going across the universities.
So for you, was it a little bit different to Tshepo? Who Tshepo says, well, the call came from the communities. The community themselves that said, man, go and represent us. So where did that call come from for you?
Everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. I'm also doing it on online platforms. Through digital signatures, where people saying that go and represent me in Parliament. And also not only that, you go on the ground, you meet people, you go to community halls, you go to where people are, they must see you face to face, physically so, and articulate your vision, and in terms of how you want to see this country, being run, and which I think that I would have loved to see many more of independent candidates who would say, I want to go to Parliament, so that these political parties don't have the the wide majority to actually rule this country. Yeah. Which I think now, it's only few of us, 2 or 3. So now I'm going to just be in Parliament. And, with these political parties...
I'm going to come to that. I'm going to come to effectiveness. Just wanted to get to the process. Tshepo, even with the mandate from your people, you still needed to garner 1,000 signatures or so. How easy was that process to convince people that, 1, you're not a scammer, 2, it's not just a job application? A lot of people say, these independent guys, they just want a salary. They don't want to get a seat either in the legislature or in Parliament. And really, there's not more to it.
Tshepo, I'm very active in my community. I've led communities where we had to close potholes. We've built parks for kids. I'm very passionate. So to me, whether I'm in or not, it doesn't really matter. I've been doing the work. I'm on the ground constantly. I mean, just today we were in a church in Soweto, where we were meeting kids, where we were donating some clothes, shoes. So I'm constantly on the ground. So my community said to me, we will go look for signatures for you. They collected about 90,000 signatures across the country. I was so pleased, but I did not have money because it also cost 15,000 with the IEC from an independent candidate. They said, don't worry about the money. Yeah. We will go lobby money for you. So I can say it's an easy one for me because, when real activists are really on the ground, that's where you see the impact of the community. People are tired of political parties. Tshepo, there's 80% of parties that represent the black majority out there. Sure. 80. But they can agree only on a single matter. But the constituency is the same. So it clearly shows you that the party model, it doesn't work for the people, and the people have seen it. Yeah. So we are here, and I'm here to lobby you also, and I can see your vote for me. Join my community.
How do you then not have a concern in that particular space where you are now going to go as... You say you've already got the 90,000, which is a good start if they are really going to put their X on your face and guarantee you a seat. But are you not going to lose that goodwill because you're going to get into a parliamentary space that is party dominated, and you'll find that you'll be a very small voice in a big hall of decisions that are being taken by either people who are in a particular coalition, or if there's a party that gets an outright majority that uses their majority.
Look, Tshepo, it's about Mpimpi.
Yeah.
We're going to become the Mpimpi of the legislature.
Right.
So, Reina, we're going to tell the people what is really happening there.
Right.
Because oversight is the most important thing. Oversight. If we only practice oversight in all spheres of government, everything's going to be okay. So we are there for oversight.
Yes.
Right. We'll be like, I can't tell you that everybody's got their little nyana skeletons.
Yes.
We are there to look what skeleton is in there.
Yeah.
We'll tell you.
Don't worry. Be able to have the
Go vote, I'll tell you.
Tshepo Mogano, Ramoba, they're staying with me. Let's take a break. You can, of course, pose your questions for them also tonight. 072-110-5584. Drop us an X at Newzroom 405. We continue in a moment. Back live tonight up here on In Focus. Let's unpack then the independent candidate story a little bit further. We're with Blessings Ramoba and Tshepo Mogano with us in the studio. I wanted to raise this question of effectiveness because you were jumping there in a moment. So talk to me how effective you think you're going to be in a legislature that is dominated by more political parties now than ever before.
Correct. The most important thing is, to raise your opinion and your belief in terms of how you want to see the country being governed. We are going to be influencing policy. That's the most important thing, to be in parliament. You influence policy in terms of policy direction that which you like to see the country, going. Currently, I believe personally that there are a lot of policy directions that we're supposed to have took as a country, and we did not. And that's where we are right now with the high unemployment in the country. that we are sitting about 52% of unemployment amongst young people, is 32%. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
It's because we have failed to look into policies that which are able to create employment in the country. For example, this country has got minerals. We are exporting a lot of raw materials to other countries where we are sponsoring jobs, and they leave these minerals to other countries, whereas then they come back here as final products, come back as cars, and all these things that you can think about. But if we came up with policies to say 50% of our minerals, long time ago, let them be beneficiated here so that we're able to create jobs. Not only that, also looking in terms of tax invasion amongst these mining companies, amongst even the entire sectors of the economy.
So two big ticket items for you. One is the beneficiation. Policy, but two, illicit financial flows.
Illicit outflows, which I think is happening. I'm a mining engineer by profession,
right?
And I'm an activist in the mining sector. I'm the president of Mining Forum of South Africa. I mean, we have been, engaging the DMR with regard to, policies, directions, and also wanting to see, oversight, as you have said, to say implementation of mining charter, implementation of social and labor plans. I mean, you'll drive across the country where mining companies are operating. It's a disaster. There's no service delivery.
One can listen to that and say, well, I've been listening to Blessings. You are likely going to lend your seat and your support and that support of your constituency to, for example, a party like the EFF. So when it comes to voting, you'll want to align more with parties
not really.
like that.
I don't believe in an open border policy. I'm against that. In fact, what I would like to see, this country, in terms of the government, instructing the Department of Defense Force to actually construct borders, walls, big walls that which we are going to protect, the sovereignty of this country in terms of making sure that our borders are protected. And everyone who comes in this country must come in legally. But again, we are not going to be, Africa must be united. But we must not unite in South Africa in terms of everyone coming here, and then even when you do not have skills that which we do not need in this country, then, you are accepted. We should come up with to say what type of businesses that we choose. When you come to South Africa, this is the type of businesses that which are reserved to South Africans. Secondly, even jobs. I mean, we must not just take everyone and allow everyone to come into our borders and do even, truck drivers, whereas we have got, drivers that do not have jobs. We've got graduates currently. Our youth are unemployed. And we think that the government is not even prioritizing the issue of employment in this country. So I'm coming forward to say I'm here to champion employment in the country so that we are able to see our young people who left universities and graduated being employed. There are those who graduated a long time ago. Some graduated when they were 20 years of age. Now they're 35. They do not have opportunities. This government, what's supposed to do, or what they were supposed to have done, it was to prioritize the issue of employment. That's why now I believe that they are bribing young people, they are bribing the unemployed with these grants. I mean, as a graduate, I must, they are taking those 350 because they've got nothing, in terms of, a means of living.
Let's talk more on employment. But your ticket on Oversight, how else are you going to use your vote?
Look, these things of money. Let me tell you, Thabo, the parties have made South Africa look like a banana republic. Because this thing of going for manifestos, now we're going to tell you what. No, the constituency should tell you what they want. I've set up a constituency office in Pretoria, where my constituencies are going to come there and tell me what they want. Because I will know exactly where my voters are coming from. I was in the military. So I served in the military just less than 10 years.
Yeah.
And I've been deployed in other countries around Africa. But my involvement in government, I've seen that the policies are there. That's why the ANC goes for policy conference. The policies, we've got one of the best policies you can ever. Quite frankly, we should thank them for that. But who is enforcing them? The issue in this country to solve unemployment, to solve the electricity issue, is not on if people can do it or not. They have to enforce policy. We have to have proper oversight. Because if we don't start there, any other thing is just going to be a Mickey Mouse. It's a fruitless exercise. We're just going to run around, but people are going to bribe each other. I mean, today, you get to a traffic department. It's well known that you have to take out 3,000 for this to happen. They tell you openly. Yeah. It's no longer a secret. Yeah. So we have lost values. The discipline has just gone down the drain. We need to enforce oversight. If we can just focus on that aspect alone, people are going to go to jail. How much have we spent on state capture?
Yeah.
Less than $1 billion.
Yeah.
Who's in court today? People are elevated. Others are now ministers. It's because of lack of proper oversight.
So you sound like you're going to be good friends with the Office of the Public Protector and maybe even the SIU as a whistleblower. Your function is you're going there to be a whistleblower. Anything that you see going wrong, you are going to open a case with all these institutions.
But we are busy. No, but we are busy.
Yeah.
No, we're going to keep them busy.
Yeah.
No, this single voice of one seat is going to inspire other young people to, in the next election, go for independent candidates. Because there I'll not be taking a party line.
Yes.
I'll vote with anyone that seeks the truth and doesn't want handouts. Seeks the truth and doesn't want handouts.
Let's talk about that. How are you going to get your message to the people? I mean, in one national election, we heard of a party that said they spent R1 billion on a campaign. That's a huge machinery of printing T-shirts, of billboards, of manifestos that you're talking about. There are Ramoba rallies that are going to come. What do you do to galvanize the folks and spread the message and the direction that you're saying you want to take?
Well, I don't have money. I can tell you now, I don't have money to campaign. But I'm using social media. Social media is free. Just download, I post, I speak on social media. Yeah. And I've got friends. And I've got the community that elected me to be here. Yeah. So getting the message around is not an issue that much. The issue is, are you sending the right message? So the message that we are sending out there is accountability. So with proper accountability measures and the standards that we have set for ourselves, because I've realized that as a nation, we are now okay. We are now okay with things. We're just waiting for the next stage. Which stage is it? Stage 2, stage 5, stage 3. We are not angry enough. We should be angry that the government that we have put there is actually just collapsing everything. So the most important thing that I'm going to do now is call out to the voters to say, I'm putting a challenge to you. If democracy is really exercised and it's the power of the people, here is a man without money. He wants to go to the National Assembly. He wants to go to the legislature provincially. Why don't you give them a chance?
Right.
Give them a chance. You've been going around with parties. They've done nothing. The only thing that they've done is to go and protect themselves when it comes to your pala, when it comes to state capture. I mean, a man was just telling us the other day that we've protected Zuma with whatever.
Yeah.
But the voters are still, are they still deciding?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We are here to change things. We are young people, right?
Right.
The future belongs to us.
Right.
If you're not doing it for yourself, do it for your kids. Because kids can't vote.
Yeah.
But they're being stolen, crime is rampant, they're being raped. All of these things done to them. So it's very important that we really select who are going to vote for very carefully.
Okay.
But give independents a chance.
We'll come to that. Talk to me about your thoughts, again, on policy, on the nationalization of mines.
Yeah. The nationalization of mines would not work. Those are outdated policies. Not in this age where you want... people don't know that currently the government has got an SOE called Alesco, that which is a mining state company, which is one of the mining companies organization under SOEs, that which was being investigated during the Zondo Commission. They have actually ran it down. I would like to believe that. What we should be doing, the state should create a conducive environment for business in the country, not interfere with actually the operations of private businesses. Apart from that, if you are nationalizing all these mines, what you are saying is that you are taking someone's property. There are collaterals that which has been taken against this. It's assets, basically. Mining, when you say nationalizations of mines, you are talking about assets, right? Some of these assets don't belong to this country. They belong to, investors from the rest of the world. Yeah. And you are bringing yourself sanctions because you are tampering with property. And any country that which tampers with property will not succeed. Not in this age, yeah. Right? Currently, we want to create jobs, yeah. But investors, what they are looking at, they don't look at the issues of, they look to say, is my, investment safe? Yeah. If you want to invest in a country where, investment is a threat, no one is going to invest in that particular country. Yes. Not only that, right? Let's talk about also the nationalization of, expropriation of land without compensation. Yeah. It's a disaster. What you are saying right now is that you are also taking someone's farms, you are also taking someone's property, and you are making it yours, yeah. Right? Even those farmers, they've went to the banks, they've went, maybe international funding to look for funding and all of that, yeah. In collateral with these, yeah. Properties and all. What you are saying is that though there is not going to be any repayment of those, of those assets.
So you're for the protection of property rights? I'm there
for the protection, and defending democracy.
Democracy.
Yes, of course.
And you're also for a free market.
Correct. In this way, right?
Policy, yeah.
I would have to agree it was injustice of, the land in 1913 where, the land was, dispossessed and so on, we want land. For everyone wants land. There's, yeah. No one who doesn't want it, yeah. Right? But we came with the policy of willing buyer, willing seller.
Right.
Currently also, it's very important to note that the government has got a huge vast of land, which they were supposed to give to people, and they did not do that. But again, when I give you land, to say, here is a land I've expropriated, you haven't trained the people. We have closed the ANC government. When they came to government, they found, the apartheid government had built these agricultural colleges where you go and learn about carpentry, you go and learn about farming and all. They closed all of that, right? Now, our people do not even have skill to do farming. Maybe subsistence farming you can do, yeah, but I do not have a skill to do commercial, farming itself. Yeah. But I would like to say that those who are advocating for these policies, they are flawed by nature. Those are outdated, policies that which can affect this country and take us to the dogs. More importantly, we must also look in the issues of the current issues that are affecting our people. The high unemployment. I mean,
what's your big idea? What's your big idea for creating jobs? So
my friend, 18 million of our people are getting grants, right? Out of 62 million people.
Yes.
That is not sustainable. Yeah. Basically, what we are saying is that, if you look at the statistics recently released, that 7 million people are those who are paying tax, right? Yes. And then you get 18 million people who are, dependent on. It's not sustainable. We are now, a country that dependent on grants itself.
So the big issue is one,
jobs.
The economy is not growing,
correct,
right, because of structural inhibitions
correct,
and policy uncertainty issues,
yes,
like
yes,
you're raising around property rights and so on and so forth.
yeah.
And so this economy has not been creating jobs.
It cannot grow. If you are threatening property rights, you cannot grow.
Yeah. That's the one school of thought.
Yeah.
The other school of thought is no. The economy can potentially grow, but the challenge that we have are unskilled young people,
correct,
that don't have the skills to occupy the jobs,
yes,
that we need to create. So
yes,
where do you see a solution there?
The solution will be this, right? We need to make sure that in terms we reopen those agricultural schools, right, where the different, so you can learn. It's not everyone must go to university. We cannot afford to do that. Not everyone has got, we have got our brothers and sisters who know nothing about, they do not have the capacity to go to university. They can go and learn carpentry, they can go and learn farming itself. But the government itself also, they must release those of some of the agricultural or even land that is available for those who want to do farming, and not temper around with the property. Yes, that's my point.
So Tshepo is bringing here in Gauteng, we have a crime challenge, right? There's an intervention called the Mapanyas. It's not their real name, but crime wardens is the word that I'm looking for. What do you think of that as an intervention? And when you go into that Gauteng provincial legislature and they bring a policy, it's not even a policy intervention, but it's an intervention that's coming from the Premier's office to say, we want more boots on the ground, and this is the solution.
Look, the Amapanyaza, as they call them, the wardens, are a very good idea. We should have more boots on the ground. The training, the quality of training is a problem. So if you take Amapanyaza and train them sufficiently and make them aware of their surrounding, you can actually solve a lot of things. I mean, look at our parks, for example. Nobody goes to parks anymore to go and relax with their families because there's just a lot of people there who are stealing phones. The crime is bad. Yeah. But if you put Amapanyaza in parks, right, put Amapanyaza next to libraries where kids go and read until a certain time. Put Amapanyaza where? In clinics. Put them where they are really needed, but give them proper training. I will support that initiative. But because I'm from the military, I'll have to take them all and put them in a camp, train them, and take them as oiled machines. I work with quality, Thabo. Yeah. I'm not a guy who speaks a lot. I'm not a word guy. Yeah. If you want to know about me, come to where we are. Yes. We work. Yeah.
So you seem to be connected to the social fiber of the constituency that you seek to represent. So there are a number of social issues. So we've got NGOs, for example, who have been taking the social development MEC to task around the cutting of the funding of NGOs and stringent regulations that they are putting in place in terms of NGOs being able to get funding. As an activist in that social space, how difficult has it been for you to navigate, and how do you think you can ameliorate and make things easier?
Look, NGOs should have a purpose, and they should solve a problem that is a real problem in the society. You get NGOs that you ask yourself what they are really standing for. I mean, I'm working with a couple of NGOs myself. I mean, protect yourself, protect others. Yeah. It's a health space NGO. They work with male circumcision. Right. Male medical circumcision. So they also teach young boys how to be safe, how to take care of themselves. You understand? So NGOs should be a direct diagnosis to a certain particular problem. I'm very practical because as a soldier, you should be practical. You should think on your feet. You should work harder towards the goals that you have set, right? So NGOs, I support NGOs, and the cutting of budget, and I can tell you, the cutting of budget, if you go closer and look there, you might find that there's a lot of NGOs that are owned by the people that are in office. There's a lot of problems when it comes to quality.
So blow the whistle would be the solution right there. Deployment of the military, because that's your space, to do the function of policing. What's your view on that?
No, we cannot deploy the soldiers to do the function of the police. If we start doing that, then we have already taken out the dignity out of the police department itself. The military should do military work. Our military should come back, train properly, give them right machinery, have a lot of they call them the what is this? When you are called for a duty for a certain while, not permanently employed by the military.
Right.
So when you are
deployments,
when it's something like that.
Yeah.
But it's people that they train, but they are called on collapse. You understand? So we should have a lot of standbys in the military than the military itself, because the military should be fairly small. But the people that are trained, me and yourself should be trained as a military person.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking...
So ready for the call-up?
You're ready for the call-up.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot of military.
Yeah.
But putting the military on the ground, it will make this place militant. You saw what happened during COVID.
Yeah.
Military were going around hitting people were running around. It was just a mess all over. It's because they're not trained to handle people in that fashion. They are trained to go and protect borders, our seas, our airspace. That's their function. If they want the military, take them up and put them there. The military must train them, give them discipline, let them out. But the military should not be ever used on the ground to monitor crime. Because now you are really saying we don't have the police. The confidence in the police is lost. Yeah. So why do we have a police department if we are going to have the army on the ground doing their police job?
More police interventions. You've spoken on the nationalization of mines. We've spoken on the land question. We've spoken on the employment question. Let's talk a little bit about the just transition. What's your view on the just transition?
It's a mess. It's a mess. If you look at what we are having in terms of load shedding, right? The impact of load shedding has destroyed our economy. High unemployment as a result, right? Just, transition in terms of having the mixed, the renewables coming into the picture is a good thing. But if you are saying that as a source of power or energy or electricity in the country, you want to bring renewables alone, you are not going to be able to industrialize if you are doing that. We need the coal plants, right? We need the coal as a source of energy. We need the nuclear as a source of energy. We also need wind. And all these solars that, we see them mushrooming in the country is a good thing. But you cannot have another one and destroy another one. I mean, the plan that, to actually close some of the coal plants, I think that is flawed. Instead of us having to fix those, coal power plants and maybe extend their life, look, I'm a mining engineer by profession, as I've said.
Yes.
I've worked in the mining space, either gold or, platinum and also coal. I know, the mining sector employs a large number of people in the country. Look at Mpumalanga itself. It sustains itself from mining activities across the provinces, right? Across the province. But if you are saying that, you are closing some of the power stations, what you are doing is that you are destroying the lives of those people in those areas. What we're supposed to have done was that let's have just transition as a source of energy, wind, solar. Let's just have a mixed, system of. But I can tell you this, right? If you look at other countries that have, industrialized, they've done so through the coal, the coal that which we are getting rid of. We haven't much, industrialized. We haven't done anything, in fact, right? Yeah. We are still coming in terms of, growing, our economy. But if we want to match with other countries, and another thing is this, our coal, we are taking our coals to China, we are taking our coal to Europe. while we are busy closing these power stations, they are opening,
they're demanding more of the coal.
Their demand is increasing itself. Now, the question is, is it right to close the coal mines? It's no. What we're supposed to do, let's fix the problem and maybe extend the life of these coal mines and have a mixed, source of energy in the country. And that's how we are going to. But you cannot grow the economy with renewables. You cannot industrialize. I've never seen or read any country that has ever industrialized in the world with renewables. Right? We still need coal. That's what I believe.
Gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. Well, you've heard from your independent candidates. At least the 6 out of the 42 that would have made it. But this is the 6 that is in. You can, of course, go look for their faces there on the ballot. Blessings, Ramoba, as well as Tshepo, Mogano, when you go on the ballot box and you're ticking for who you want representing you in the various legislatures. In Focus continues to start making news in a moment. Stay with us.